Hello, I'm Emma Tracey and I'm the host of Access All, the BBC's weekly podcast about disability and mental health news and stories. You can find every episode of our podcast on BBC Sounds with a transcript, and we'll put a link to those in the video description. This is a signed version of a conversation I had with young autistic actor Bradley Riches. He had just come out of the celebrity Big Brother house. I hope you enjoy it. Bradley came out of the Big Brother house in a surprise eviction just before the final. But he is here to give us the lowdown on all things Celebrity Big Brother and his time in the house. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
So how are you? How are you now?
I feel good. Part of me is like, I kind of miss it.
Do you?
Yeah, it was just because I think with me, I like routine. So once I was in that routine and I felt comfortable and very open with everyone, I was on a roll and I was just really comfortable in that situation. And I kind of blocked off those 3 weeks as that was my routine.
Tell me a bit about your routines. What way do you set out your day or your week? Like, to what level?
So I always wake up at the same time. I wake up at like 8:15 every single day. It's kind of like, if you think about, this sounds really weird, but if you think about a school timetable, you know, like when it's like maths for 50 minutes, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
That is what I like. I like my brain to see that and have all of that. So it'd be like an hour walking my dog, 20 minutes to make my breakfast, 10 minutes for a shower. Like it would be very...
So what if the phone rings or something?
It wouldn't distort my day if a phone rings, but because I can just ignore it.
Yeah. But if there was a sudden leak in the sink or something, that would be...
I would not go out for the day. Well, maybe the week. That'd be it. That'd be me done type thing.
Were there adjustments made for you in the Celebrity Big Brother house before you went in?
Yeah, so they were very open about not the schedule within the house, but the schedule before the house. Like they would always do like a timetable for me, which was really helpful. And they did ask if I wanted a watch in there, if I wanted to set a routine for myself. But I wanted to really challenge myself and push myself and try and test myself in a way. So I didn't have a clock in the end, but they did offer that. So they did set stuff up to make my time more inclusive and more accessible for me, which was really kind of them.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Now, you did have some quite emotional times in the house.
Yeah.
Are you autistic?
Yeah.
Oh, so how does it show up for you?
In different ways.
Wow.
No, yeah, it's a lot, but I've got my coping mechanisms, and that's the main reason I wanted to come here. It was like to push myself. But when I'm lying there, it's like I lie there in bed, I'm just like, God, how am I going to greet everyone in the morning? Like, how am I going to say hi to everyone in the morning? It's just like
Really?
it's tiny things, but sometimes I add a lot of pressure. But
It's so hard to have things like that because we can't see it. I think you've done so well.
Because I think sometimes it's like overthinking that you're not doing everything right.
Oh, baby, you're doing everything right. Come here.
I don't really want to cry on TV.
No, you're crying on TV.
What a lovely, lovely clip. And Marisha really knows a lot about neurodivergence. She was really on it, wasn't she? How did it feel being so honest?
I feel like a lot of time, especially like being neurodivergent, people get nervous to say the wrong wording or say the wrong thing type thing. And I feel like Marisha was just so open and so honest, and she just wanted to know how I was feeling. And for that to be happening on like day 4, and for me to even like Marisha, I was a big fan of Marisha before I went in as well. So it was quite cathartic. It was really nice to have that connection very, very early on in the experience, because going into it, that was the one thing I was very scared of, if I wasn't going to make any connections, because it takes me time to connect with people and understand people.
What was the most challenging thing for you about being in the house?
Like the first couple of days, maybe the first week, it was, like I said to Marisha, it was like, how am I going to greet people? Because I struggle to greet people and know how, if I'm coming across well, and I overthink everything, especially the morning, because you don't want to be too much, you don't want to greet people too much, but you don't want to greet people too little.
Yeah.
And it was that thing of like knowing boundaries with people, because like Louis Walsh doesn't want me singing in his face when I wake up, but like for example, like David, I could have that connection with David. So it was just finding how each connection was different and working that out, and I had to do it quickly because otherwise people were going to hate me and get rid of me very quickly. So
yeah, because you had to be liked.
Yeah, you had to be liked. Luckily, I'm I was quite liked in there nicely, but
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just sorry, I got a little bit distracted there trying to think about what it would be like to be stuck in a house for 3 weeks with Louis Walsh.
yeah, when Sharon and Louis walked in, it was just kind of like they walked in, they're like, "Hi everyone." It was just like, "Oh yeah, this is so normal. Like this is just so normal."
Yeah, I didn't grow up with these people on my telly at all.
No, definitely.
And what were your coping mechanisms? So, like if you needed an L stim or, what did you do?
When I was in Big Brother, I just felt so accepted, and I was like, if I want to stim, I'm going to stim and not feel ashamed of it. I think that was a big thing. So I think one of my coping mechanisms was obviously stimming.
So tell people what stimming is.
Stimming is when there's so much emotion, your body just needs to get rid of that energy in different ways of excitement or being anxious. And I stim quite a lot.
So what do you do?
I do hand movements. I also, my legs go, I want to free my legs sometimes. So I think there's a video on TikTok that someone posted of Celebrity Big Brother, and it's me literally pushing my legs out and falling off the sofa because it was just so much, because I thought I was going to see a loved one. So that was probably quite a hard watch. And then before AJ walks in, I'm clapping my hands together like this, excited, and then that obviously gets ruined as well.
How important is it for people to see that on television though? You don't see that very much, do you?
And it's also, I don't think I ever spoke about stimming in the house, but watching clips back when people are like, "Oh my God, he's literally stimming," like how important that is and stuff like that. It was like, oh my God, like I really felt so comfortable in that situation, because when I stim, I don't know I'm really stimming. Like you kind of just do it. It's kind of natural. But yeah, when people were posting that, I was like I never spoke about it in there, but I obviously felt so comfortable and I felt so accepted that my body would just do it type thing.
Yeah. And how'd you deal with like sensory stuff?
Yes. The kitchen, oh my God, it was white. It was harsh white lighting, and it felt like you were in a studio. So like that's why we'd always spend time in the garden, the bathroom, spaces that weren't as harsh, and made me feel a bit more distressed type thing. And then obviously walking into the house, obviously the loud crowds and stuff like that, and the lights and stuff like that, it was... I had my earplugs in, which was very helpful, just so I think it allowed me to be more present, especially in that situation, because I want to absorb all of it, but also I don't want to be so overwhelmed and stimulated that I just shut down and I have a breakdown type thing. So using those earplugs really helped me to be more present, especially walking in the house.
I mean, you come across as such a happy chap and talk to me really openly about stimming and about being able to wear your earplugs and the lighting. It can't have always been like that for you. I mean, being autistic is a journey for most people. You were diagnosed when you were 9.
Yes.
What was childhood and life like for you before and just after your diagnosis?
I didn't use my voice as a form of communication when I was younger. So I didn't speak.
What age were you when you started to speak, to communicate?
Around 10.
So did you speak at all before you were 10?
No. I would have forms of different communications, so like body or like sounds, and I would say Abba. My sister's name was Amber, so I would always have a very close connection with my sister, which was really nice. Without even using my voice, they would still understand me. But whereas at school, obviously bullying was a big thing, so it was like these kids won't understand me, they don't take time to understand me, so it was just nothingness really. And that obviously was quite hard growing up, because I would never have those connections and friendships growing up. So then that's when my nan said for me to go to drama class, like a weekend school, just to get my confidence up. And then I started to find these people who are very similar to me, and they like the same things. And I began to use like my voice as a form of communication, as well as my body and my sounds. And so I had a stammer, so I went to the doctors and had vocal training about my stammer. And then with the drama class, it allowed me to accept myself a lot more. And I'm forever grateful for my nan, forever grateful for drama. Acting was an escapism for me. I was playing these characters who weren't me, they were far away from me, and it made me find me, which sounds really weird because I wasn't playing me, but
no, I've met quite a few autistic actors who would say that, absolutely, that acting's the easiest part of who they are.
Yeah, definitely.
In some ways. I mean, being an autistic teen can be super tough.
Yes.
Because you're, friendship groups, relationships, but you were also dealing with your sexuality and figuring out who you were there as well, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely. It was like when I hit, say, 15, I started to accept who I was, like my neurodivergency. I understood myself more. I knew why I reacted in certain ways. And then obviously I started getting labelled as gay and stuff like that. And then I was a bit like, oh my God, there's a new thing I need to, like, there's another hurdle I need to jump over, my sexuality, what is it? And then I was struggling with my sexuality, not knowing who I was. So then I felt like I had to go over 2 hurdles in my teen years. But once I understood myself there when I was around 19, past 3 years, I've just been so happy and so accepting of myself. And now I've got the best friends ever, and I found my people finally, which is really nice.
Now, we cannot have you here in the studio without asking about Heartstopper.
Of course.
My goodness, did that change your life?
Yeah, it was. So I auditioned for season 1 and I sent my self-tapes in, and then I got through a couple of rounds for the season 1 and then didn't get the role. And then I randomly got a phone call for season 1 saying, would you like to come and do one line, basically like a featured extra? Would you like to come and do one line in one of the scenes? And I was like, of course I would, that'd be great. So I did that. And then obviously season 2 then got announced, and obviously I didn't think anything of it. And then I got another phone call saying, we'd love for you to audition for the new character of James. And then I found out like 2 days later, and yeah, it was crazy because it was like, for them to remember me, especially from doing one line, it was quite cool because it's unheard of in this industry. They just audition everyone, and I didn't have an agent at the time either because I was studying at drama school. So then I had to leave drama school for on my 3rd year, one of my last terms. Did all my written work, got my degree, thank God.
Woohoo, well done.
And yeah, it completely changed my life, and I met so many amazing people while doing that job as well, which is really cool.
And season 3 is coming.
Season 3 is coming.
What can we expect from James and from the show?
I don't know if I can say actually. But I could say that it's out in October, which came out while I was in the house.
Oh, come on. Nothing else to give. Does James have any sort of relationships in this new series?
Who knows? I want to keep my job.
Thanks to Bradley Riches, and thanks to you for watching.